So on Friday, there was a meeting in Meru where Deputy President Riggy and Mithika Linturi, they were talking tough about how they are going to crack down on coffee cartels. We need to understand that that these shenanigans, this is a cycle that happens with every presidency. Every presidency who comes claims that they want to solve the coffee mess, the coffee cartels mess, but we know this is just hot air. We know this is cheap and empty rhetoric. Kibaki came with it, Uhuru came with it. He had a task force stakeholder, I don't know what, KPCU, nothing matured. So it's just another cycle. Now they have better optics, they have social media. I saw Cecily Mbarire very angry about some coffee cartels. She named the companies and she said these companies are the ones. These companies have been licensed. They have been legally licensed to do the work that they are doing. So the problem is not the companies. The problem is the law. The problem is the law which has been passed by the same MPs whose every ruling party has the majority in parliament. So the problem is they create the problem and then they come to rant to the public. They come to gaslight you. We are speaking on your behalf. These Muzungu companies, of course, these Muzungus are useless pieces of shit. These tropical farm management, I don't know what. These are useless companies. But they've been licensed by the same government. I was surprised to hear now we have the agricultural, I don't know what authority. Previously, those coffee agencies were licensed by the Coffee Board of Kenya, but your same parliament, your same MPs, the useless bastards who you guys elect, they go and pass laws to create more and more parastatals headed by juvenile nincompoops who don't even know. Like now that guy who was speaking from the agricultural, I don't know what organization, probably has never grown coffee in his life. So you create bureaucracy and then you create opportunities for juvenile nincompoops appointed based on tribal or ethnic biases, appointed just because of crony capitalism, so that now they oversee the death of the industry. So the solution which will come from those deliberations will be to create more bureaucracy, not for the farmers, because let me tell you the issue about farmers. Even those companies that were mentioned, first of all, they mostly handle private sector coffee. They mostly handle farmers, people who have their own estates. The people who got the estates, they stole them during the Kenyatta era from the white man, the estates which were supposed to be handed over to the freedom fighters. So they deal with private people. Those private people are not complaining much. They could complain about prices, bad management, but everything is internal. But the biggest source of coffee, 70%, has always been the smallholder farmers. Now, the smallholder farmers, the coffee within the smallholder coffee collapsed because of corruption. So you have all these farming societies. We have these coffee farmers societies. You have Mboi Committee. It was a powerful one. You don't understand why they still don't grow coffee today. They have the land. Why? Because the money flows well from the auction. The money flows well to the marketer or to the marketing agent or to the miller, and then it's sent to the farmers. The estates are not complaining about not receiving money. The ones who don't receive money are the smallholders, because once the money gets to Murata Farmers Cooperative Society, the directors there, they chop the money, they eat the money. So the money that is getting to the farmers is peanuts. It's peanuts because it has been chopped. And farmer societies, they are like our churches. So let me tell you, the SI unit for corruption is the churches, and then you go to those kind of setups. So for how are church elders stealing from you? What do? They used to set up a development committee or construction committee, and then they always used to concoct a project. So there was always a project being engineered by you. At every church level, we are building a new church. Even before you finish that church, we are building something. So this is how the church elders and church officials steal money from churches, or concocting projects. Every cycle, there is a project which people are being asked, and then they have the chairman of the development committee is given a slot during Sunday service, and then he has to go there and tell people, give money, and then Kenyan being idiots, they obviously give money without questioning where the money is going. So it's the same thing with those farmer cooperative societies. all the time concocting projects like what we want to computerize, we want to what. I used to interact with those old men, those old bastards who ran down the coffee sector. They are useless bastards. They are very revered in the church circles. If you go to the churches, they are the most respected people. They sit palembele because they have stolen the future of coffee farmers. They sit there in front. They are respected in the community. Over the weekends, we have young bastards who want to suck their cocks, all for free beer. These guys masquerade as they are, oh, come Francis, I want to give you some advice. I don't need advice from all retarded bastards who've bankrupted farmers' cooperative societies like you. So if the government is not addressing the corruption that has permeated within the farmer smallholder coffee scheme or coffee cooperatives, you're not doing anything, because that's where the problem is. The estates are still getting their money from these same agents. These same agents who are being flawed by Cecily Mbarire, they remit the money to the farmers' societies. Do the chairmen of those societies remit the money to their members? No. Which is what you saw, and I spoke about this. Odaya Farmers Cooperative Society, which is a neighbor of where Riggy comes from, them, they offloaded their assets based on corruption of their leaders. So they sold where Thika Greens is. They also sold some, they offloaded many of their assets because the farmers were not receiving money. So there is also another farm, I think Mishuki was the chairman, it was called Irigidadis, just next to Thika Greens. It was a green space, it was lush, it had trees, but the farmers there who are, I think they're called Kangema Farmers Cooperative Society, those guys were just chopping money. They were not giving money to their members. So when the members went for an AGM, they said, we are not receiving money from these guys. These guys are, we can see from the records that they received money from the agency, from the marketer, but then when they come there, they say, oh, we had to deduct these charges, we had to deduct these because of corruption. And now these guys, they went for an AGM and said, no, we are tired of this nonsense, tukatakatiwe hizi vitu zikuwe plots for sale. So this is what has happened. So if you're not dealing with, I know it is sexy to mention those useless Muzungu pieces of shit. I'll tell you, Michael Newman and Germany, they are the biggest traders of green coffee, yet they don't grow a single bean in their country. So Michael Newman is a cartel in himself. He's the biggest mover of green coffee in the world. So in Kenya, he owns a company, he owns Tropical Farm Management, and then he owns Ibero. So he has overlapping licenses, a conflict of interest, which has been engineered by the same government that is now lambasting them. Do you think they are genuine? Do you think they care about farmers? No. This is something they trended. Their videos were there. Cecily Mbarire was speaking with that motherly tone, and she was so. And guys are telling her, "We congratulate you for being brave." She's not saying anything we've not said, my friend Bana. This is because you guys have been so useless. You've been consuming. If your work is consuming Lynn Goge's YouTube toxic content, oh, how I killed somebody and ate the heart. If your work is consuming such content, you'll never have the knowledge to know when you're being scammed. And what happened in Meru was the biggest scam. Those guys, once they sit down, first of all, they have no legal basis to shut down any company, because all these companies have been licensed and legally operating, and they have local shareholders who are very powerful. And so now you want to say that the problem you created now is our problem, and now you're trying to play to the gallery because people are gullible. Kenyans are gullible once you, especially when it comes from a politician. And these guys, they are in bed together. Until you understand that, you'll keep on being taken like fools. Year in, year out, it will be a revolving door of foolishness and stupidity. So if you're not getting East Africa Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, if you're not getting them to arrest the chairman and all the board members, historically, you go back to the 90s, because smallholder coffee contributed 70% to Kenya's gross output. So once the smallholder collapsed, then our coffee earnings died automatically. Now we have a few estates, and those estates, the same government has licensed people like Tatu City. Tatu City have cleared all the coffee, even unnecessarily, just to sell as plots for sale. So the same government which has given them a change of user to sell plots Tattoo City, you saw the director, the owner of Tattoo City was the first meeting, one of the first meetings Ruto held at State House was with him. They've given them change of user, they've cut down all the coffee, and then now here they are crying wolf for you just to pander to the gallery, just to excite the masses. You people are stupid.